just to prove people.
Yeah, and it's your boy's holiday. Chavez, Cesar Chavez. Yeah,
it is. It's Cesar Chavez. Yeah. Why am I working?
I don't know.
You guys need to be working.
No, if that's the case, Black History Month, when it come back next year, I get the whole month off. Paid.
I identify. Hey, welcome to Not a Fitted Podcast. It's your boy Anthony, conservative Cholo, right here. I can do either or, guys, just so you know. Don't bust my chops. Conservative Cholo or conservative Chicano. I got my boy the Bishop and the Token across from me. You can't do either or, and you can't do either or. Your names are permanent. I'm just telling you, as the host, I could do either or. Okay.
So there's not many black people or white people. It's mostly Mexican.
So your names are fluid?
Your names are fluid.
They are fluid. Yes.
How about the pronouns?
And my pronouns are Cholo Chicano. Okay, so. We want to welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the podcast. We enjoy doing this every week for y'all. Man, I am just super grateful for everybody who's been liking, sharing, commenting. Once again, we have hit milestones that I didn't think was going to happen, but it did. And we appreciate all you guys leaving the comments and stuff and tuning in every week. We talk about culture and its influence on the church. And guys, something happened this last week. And our Insta Reels have been blowing up. We've grown about 1,000 people a month. Trust me, I didn't see that coming either. But one of our clips blew up this week, and I've got some late breaking news I got to give you. So our producer Jake did the clip of me talking about my neighbor, and he's a racist.
Oh,
and it went crazy. And there's something I need to tell you guys. I'm not Mexican. 90% of the comments were, he's not Mexican. He's a little darker of a white dude. And I don't know how to respond, but I need Jake to make sure he inserts a picture here of what a Mexican is supposed to look like. I don't know, is that the sombrero? I don't know, am I supposed to be working in the fields? Am I supposed to be standing with my shovel at Home Depot? Am I supposed to be selling you fresas at Lowe's? That's strawberries for you non-bilingual people.
Lucha Libre mask.
Do I have a Lucha Libre mask? I don't know. Am I walking my poor abuela down the street? That's grandma in translation. I don't know. What's a Mexican look like?
What are they saying? Like, why?
They said he's white.
Oh, like,
this looks like a white guy.
How could he be talking about somebody raised? He's white.
Yeah, he's white. There's another white guy complaining. Every other comment was I was white. Has anybody ever mistaken you for being anything other than white?
Nope.
Has anybody ever mistaken you for being anything other than black?
My son said I'm not black.
What did he say?
He says you're brown. You're not black.
Oh,
is black not a color?
What?
Oh,
he didn't say it wasn't a color.
That was good. That was a slight of him, but that was good. That was good.
But I've been called that. I've been saying it. I've been told I'm not black by black people.
Okay. Can you help me to understand?
Just keep moving along.
Keep moving along. But I did ask this person who really went after me hard a question. I did ask them this question. They said this guy. He's not a racist, right? They just were going back and forth. They were just rude. And so I asked the question, and I thought it was a sensible question. I'm going to give it to you guys. I said, have you ever met a racist who wasn't rude? And they got mad, and they wrote me another letter. To which I responded, I'm sorry, that's well past my word count. I'm not going to take the time to read that. But is that a good question?
I have to say, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
And then my next question was, tell me if this one was good. How many interactions do I have to have with a particular person before I can qualify them as a racist? Go ahead and say it. That's another stellar question.
But that's a tricky one. That's hard.
It's tricky.
It's tricky. He understands now. It's tricky.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. So any thoughts on I'm not going to lie to you guys. Today, I have my Mexican shirt in my closet. I almost brought my Mexican shirt out just to prove people.
Yeah, and it's your boy's holiday. Chavez, Cesar Chavez. Yeah.
It is. It's Cesar Chavez. Yeah. Why am I working?
I don't know.
You guys need to be working.
No, if that's the case, Black History Month, when it come back next year, I'll get the whole month off. Paid.
I identify. How much percentage black do I need to be to get the month off?
Well, I have yet to get a Sunday off when it was St. Patrick's Day.
You are Irish. I forgot.
Yeah. What's up with that?
I just thought all you white people were something else.
Oh, here we go.
Well, St. Patrick was doing ministry.
He got you. He was St. Patrick. He was doing ministry.
He wasn't getting drunk.
He wasn't getting drunk with the leprechaun, getting beads.
Okay, so anyway, I thought I'd share that with you guys. Okay, so started off, we got our sci-fi segment. I know I showed you guys this clip earlier in the office, but I need to show the audience because you got to admit this seemed a little creepy. Like this is getting a little out there, but I want to show you guys. This is our sci-fi segment. Like, is this actually real? Are we getting closer to like maybe Christ's return or what's going on? A lot of drama's been around the mark of the beast. What is the mark of the beast? Apparently, it's how you identify yourself. All this stuff. If you read the book of Revelation, I'm not saying this is the mark of the beast, but this is definitely headed in that trajectory. So I want you guys to watch this right now.
Authentication is irritating. This is a developmental system made by MC10, and it has an antenna and some sensors embedded in it. And what we plan to do is work with them to advance a tattoo that could be used for authentication. It may be true that 10 to 20-year-olds don't want to wear a watch on their wrist, but you can be sure that they'll be far more interested in wearing an electronic tattoo, if only to piss off their parents. I take a vitamin every morning. What if I could take vitamin authentication?
What?
This pill has a small chip inside of it with a switch, and it creates an 18-bit ECG-like signal in your body, and essentially your entire body becomes your authentication token.
Okay, so are you getting that tattoo?
Yeah, right here. or right here.
What'd you think when you first saw that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're already halfway there, partially there with your phones. People don't go anywhere without their phones.
Right.
So you're partially there. I mean, to get it actually put on your body, I don't think it's going to be a big leap for a lot of people.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't think it's that. I don't think people are going to see it as a big deal. Would I do it? I don't think I would do it.
Yeah, I think people would want convenience. They're going to say, oh, I don't have to carry a wallet anymore. I don't have to. It's going to make my life easier. And that's how they'll sell it, right? Like you go to a gas pump and just wave your arm, boom, be able to pump gas.
But did you see my correlation a minute ago where I say this is just kind of getting us closer to what the Bible was describing? You can't buy or sell food. You can't trade. Mm-hmm. You can't do anything without this mark. I mean, is that too far of a leap I'm making, or is this kind of heading in that trajectory?
Yeah, I mean, we just don't know. I mean, people have been making suggestions about, maybe even credit cards back in the day. All these different type of things of like, this is the mark of the beast. This is what's coming. Eventually, we're going to get there. I think you can see it getting towards there. Is this it? I don't know. But I think you're going to see people do it.
Okay. But you guys brought up a very good point. This is what I was getting at. All under the banner and the auspices of what? Convenience.
Well, think about it. Even like people are willing to give up a lot of their privacy. They have a phone. They have a watch. I mean, if you have an Apple Watch and stuff, Apple's probably tracking you.
Oh,
and
for sure.
And you're like, whatever. You're probably tracking me with my phone anyway. So what's the difference?
You're like, ask app not to track me. They're still tracking you.
You know what I'm saying? So your car, I mean, you're almost all modern cars, and they probably can tap into it and track you. Well, but you want navigation and all the stuff.
Somebody just got busted. Since you just said that real quickly, somebody just got busted. They were tracking, I think it was GMC or Ford. One of the main manufacturers got busted. They sold all your data and information to insurance companies. And that's why they allegedly raised their rates, because they saw your driving patterns and driving habits. Like they did it without your permission. And I think there's currently a lawsuit, or there's a lawsuit filed going against that. Like, hey, you didn't get permission for that. So you guys are right. They are tracking. They are doing these things. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I see the new golden calf, since we just got off Easter. And Passover's coming and all that, the Moses thing, right? I see the new golden calf being convenience. And absolutely, if I don't got to take in my phone, if I don't got to do any of this stuff, I could just simply wave my hand or do whatever. I think people will bow down to the convenience. And that's where I guess I was going with. I think this is another step in that trajectory. That's all. That's all I was saying.
Well, and I think it may even come a lot more subtle than we think.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So if you think about a lot of places went cashless after COVID, and they didn't want, but it was more like for the safety of others. We're not going to do cash, and I don't think people really batted an eye at it. But so that means that you were forced to use a different form of payment. So if you didn't have any of those other payments, you couldn't buy, even though you had cash.
So you're saying that's how they'll subtly get it in again?
So they could keep. I'm not saying they're going to like create COVID again or anything like that, but
they might, yeah,
maybe. But they could go and say something like, "Hey, all of our system is now going to go cashless." So now you go to Walmart and like you just know that, hey, if I go to Walmart, it's cashless.
I'm still a cash guy. Are you guys cash? I got it. I don't know if it's the Mexican in me or what, but I gotta have cash.
I don't carry cash.
If I carry cash, I'll spend it.
Oh, really?
So I don't like it.
No, like I've taught my kids, you gotta have cash, gotta have emergency cash, gotta have stash cash.
No, stash cash and emergency cash.
Yeah,
but keeping
like,
cash on me, I don't like to keep.
Like
cash
I
on.
love paying with cash. It's just that maybe that's just me how I was raised, but I try to anyway. I try to go against that, but I do think these types of things that people send me. And thank you guys so much for sending them to me. I do appreciate. I do get to all your DMs and I do look at all that stuff just so you guys know. And in the comments, we do that too. I do think I think it's going to be under that umbrella of convenience or safety, one of those two things. And I think this type of stuff, we're getting closer and closer and closer to what's going to be happening. So, okay, talking about Easter. Easter had a little bit of controversy, got overshadowed by, and I think I'm going to mess this up, but I'm going to do my best. National Transgender Visibility Day was proclaimed as a declaration by the Biden-Harris administration as March 31st, better known for us yesterday as Easter. So they decided to go ahead and make a proclamation that March 31st from here on out is going to be known as Trans Visibility Day. And I just want to show you guys a clip. I thought Tom McDonald had a few things. That's his name, right? Yeah. I think he had a few things to say about it. Some of it tongue-in-cheek. Some of it's pretty serious. Watch this clip.
Breaking news. Joe Biden has declared Easter Sunday as Transgender Day of Visibility. Joe, I think there's been some sort of misunderstanding. Jesus came back from the dead on Sunday. He didn't come back as a woman. I mean, seriously, is a day of visibility even necessary? Because they're visible, Joe. Because everywhere I look, there's a pregnant man dominating in women's sports, or a rainbow flag, or a Miss Universe that looks more like a Mr. Rogers, or a group of people who identify as pancakes trying to force feed themselves to a classroom full of third graders. They're visible. We can see them. Hey, maybe we could have a day of invisibility where we don't have to pretend that the adult man bagging our groceries is a beautiful lady. What's next? Christmas is going to be Men's Menstrual Cycle Day. Thanksgiving's going to be the Feather Festival to bring awareness to people who identify as birds. Let's just rename Monday to Gay Day. Instead of hiding little chocolate eggs on Easter, maybe we can hide candy-coated coupons for gender reassignment surgery. Or hey, maybe instead of blatantly trolling Christians, we could just spend a little more time not running the country into the ground. Happy Easter, everyone.
Okay. Let's get some first thoughts on that. Let's get some first thoughts.
Thanksgiving Day was pretty good.
Feather Day or whatever.
Jesus didn't come back as a woman.
A couple of those lines were pretty funny.
It was funny.
What'd you think though? I mean, I know he's doing some satire there, but he sounds pretty upset. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's for administration who wants to be sensitive to people, a group of people. He really didn't care about Christians. I mean,
that's facts.
I mean, he says he's a Catholic. He should know this is our most important celebration that we have on a Sunday, and to have to announce this on our most important day is it's a slap in the face. Did
you see it that way as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about there's a good chance that he knows he's on his way out. Well,
Okay.
He probably doesn't know anything at this point, but
that's true. He probably doesn't.
I could just imagine him wearing Velcro shoes and anyway, can't tie his shoes, but. So, and then if we was a different president,
okay,
and we assumed that they knew that they were on their way out, you try to do as much as you can before you leave, because it's it's kind of like your last week of work, and you're just like, well, screw it, I can do whatever I want.
That's true.
And so for him to choose that day, well, I should say he's just a puppet. So for his administration to choose that day was a blatant spit in the face.
Can I ask you guys something? So you very much feel this was intentional?
Yeah, he can't. Well, I mean, they know what they're doing. They can't be that stupid. They know this is a big holiday for believers. And he claims to be this devoted Catholic that grew up in church, went to all these black churches. He knows how important this day is.
So yeah, it's interesting to me because I don't really know. I know that Tom McDonald did a rap song with Ben Shapiro and stuff. I don't really know too much about him. I don't know if he's a believer or not a believer. I just don't know if he's an American. I mean, I know he's an American, but like, is he a patriotic American? I don't know what's going on. But I took it yesterday. Like, what are we doing? Like, you had all of last year, because people were coming back on the other side saying, well, it's always been March 31st. Okay, then you could have made that proclamation last year when it wasn't on Easter. Why did you choose right now? You could have chose 2 weeks from now saying, hey, from here on out, every March 31st is going to be this. But I think there's a bigger issue here. I found a headline, and I did the verification. It was true. Fox News came out with a headline: 3 months and 28 days of LGBTQ events clogged the calendar as the White House faces backlash against the Easter Trans Visibility Day. And so let me get this out to the public. Listen to me. 3 months and 28 days of some type of gay awareness, LGBT awareness. And so we pulled up the calendar. It's in a size 4 font, so I had to have Mike Cook read it. But Mike, go ahead and give us a couple of the days that you circled that you thought were just kind of interesting. Go ahead. Listen to some of these days. And by the way, it's all throughout the year, as if they're not visible, because DeShawn, they're invisible. Okay, they're invisible. They're not invisible, huh? Okay, listen to this. Listen, because we see them. Yeah, go ahead.
All a bunch of, never mind. So the headline that I read said it was like a total of like 145 days throughout the year.
It is, correct.
So maybe the reason why they chose March 31st is because there was no other day for them to choose. They ran out of options.
We're running out of options. Okay, go ahead.
A couple of my favorite holidays.
Drum roll. Here we go. Go ahead.
March 2022. So this started a couple years ago. Harmony Week.
Harmony Week.
Yes, in March we have Harmony Week.
Harmony. That means you two should get along.
Hey, we missed it already.
Oh, we missed it? Okay. We can try again next year. Okay, what do we got?
May 26th is National Sorry Day.
Wow. DeShawn expects an apology from you. You hear me? He expects an apology.
We'll celebrate in advance. I'm sorry. When we go see the Lord together, I'll ask him why he created me white. He made a mistake.
Hey, so on National Sorry Day, are we just supposed to go up to a random person and apologize?
Well, no, these are all LGBTQI 758434 plus awareness days.
Okay, what's the next one?
Okay, the last one is Are You Okay Day. Are you okay? Day. That is celebrated in September. So I will wait to ask you if you're okay until September. But once that comes, September 8th. You
need to
okay?
Find your gay friend and say, "Are you okay?"
Are you okay?
No, you got to find your LGBTQIA plus friend. No, there's a 2 in there.
You say
there is a 2 in there. I promise you, because it's for the two-spirited people.
What does that mean?
Well, I think the plus is this.
Oh, it's the plus take the 2.
Yeah.
So we're in there.
Okay, so for everybody who falls into the plus category, do they feel seen? Because they're not on the list. Do they feel heard?
They don't get a letter.
Are they okay?
That's who we need to find.
That's where we need to find. We need to ask them, "Are you okay?" Okay, let me ask you something. Is this overboard now?
Yeah, well, I'm upset. March 31st, that's my anniversary, and the president took my day. As a black man, I'm mad.
Come on, preach on it. Get the organ going. Let's go.
You still another day from me, this white man. Still another day from me that I need for me and my wife.
But hold on. Correct me if I'm wrong. But didn't Biden said, if you don't vote for Biden, you ain't black?
Oh, I guess I'm not black, so never mind. Scratch that.
So when the cop pulls you over...
Hey, according to Biden,
excuse me, our president said I am not.
Stop profiling me.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I feel like, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, please. I feel like people are done with it. They're fed up. They're sick of it. It's like every time we turn around, celebrating something, honoring something, telling them that they've done this commitment to society. Can I ask you a question? What has the transgender movement added to our society?
Confusion.
What have they done? And we get these people up here saying, oh, they've added so much, we've done so much, we've done this. No, I see your community disproportionately as pedophilers. I see your community scaring women, trying to dominate sports, hurting women in sports. Leah Thomas is a male, not a female. She's a 6'4" guy who beat a woman by Riley Gaines, and by the way, barely beat her. So which means he'd get smoked in any men's category in high school swimming. This is ridiculous. And I think there are more people who are fed up. They're just afraid of the cancel culture. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I just, being around a lot of strong women growing up and hearing a lot of conversations about the importance of being a strong woman and women's rights, and then seeing the trans movement essentially start to eliminate all of those things that the women's rights activists kind of like push forth is terrible. Like to see athletics and Title IX and all of that essentially go down the drain. Even when we talk about like college academic admissions, and you start talking about the glass ceiling that women always felt like that they had when it came to the workplace, and now you have these dudes who dress up as chicks and they totally like takes their spot.
So correct me if I'm wrong, was it Martina Navratilova who came out and said, "What are we doing?"
She got a heat, yeah.
But she's gay, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she said, "Listen, I was the best in the world." And I think she'd even made a comment like the 100th worst male player could beat me. And she'd alluded to something like that. Matter of fact, Serena Williams had even said that on, I think it was the
like Jimmy Kimmel or somebody.
Jimmy Kimmel show. She did. And she said that. She said she actually played him and got his service speed was already 10 miles an hour faster. And she couldn't return it. And she's a gifted athlete. I mean, she'd beat any of us here in tennis. But I'm saying she was comparing apples to apples, right? And even Martina, and it concerned me then, and I thought maybe this will blow over. When Martina comes out and she says we need to protect women's sports, and the backlash she got. Now this is somebody who's been active in the Pride community, somebody who was a spokesperson in the Pride community, somebody who was revered in the Pride community, and I feel like there is this split now. Because I also came across another, I believe she's important, another woman who is a lesbian, and this is her own word. He's identified for years. As a matter of fact, she was revered in this area, and she came out against the trans movement, and they eviscerated her. And I even read one comment that says, "Well, you're not really gay then." And I thought to myself, she's probably been gay longer than you've been alive, but you could just make this carte blanche blanket statement because she doesn't agree with the trans movement. And I don't know, what I feel is I feel like the transgender movement has hijacked everything, and you will bow and you will submit and you will use pronouns and you will do everything we tell you to do or else. And this is coming into the church. Matter of fact, I thought this is just me, okay? And I could be overreacting myself. But it was crazy because on Saturday, we did our Easter egg hunt. So I'm on social media, posting videos, doing all this stuff, and I read some stuff. And I saw a lot of pastors start posting how upset they were at the Biden-Harris administration and how Easter is for us and what are you doing? You could have waited. I saw a lot of people now getting upset. And you know me, I'm over here just going, where was that same energy? We've been on, if you go back and you look at our old podcast, since 2020, what have we been saying? We have been saying since 2020, hey, we're the canary in the gold mine. Hey, they're coming for you. Hey, every day they're just taking another piece of ground, another piece of ground, another piece of ground. And you know what I kind of felt like? Again, and this could be Anthony again, I felt like you all are a day late and a dollar short. But I saw all these churches getting mad. Like, where was that energy though? Why do you think 3 years ago they didn't believe us, they didn't hear us, they didn't speak up? What do you think? Why do you think now? What changed now is what I'm asking y'all.
This is an important day. People realize like, hey, this is a big day for the church, and then you just see this happen. Like, hey, you guys trying to take this too? I think eventually people will wake up to see it. I also think, eventually we'll win out. I think you're going to see as people, realize as they do these surgeries and they come back on it, like, okay, this isn't right. I think people are eventually, at some point, how far it's going to go, I don't know. But I eventually think people are going to come to a sentence and realize, like, okay, this isn't right. Like, we got to change what we're doing here. I think people are going to completely, like, see their lives fall apart.
Why now, though, Mike? Why are people mad now?
Maybe now it's at your doorstep.
Ah.
So like your congregation is saying something, maybe wanting a statement. They want, or people feel as though their congregation wants them to speak out against it, and so they speak out against it. Whereas before, like you kind of, it was for the people over there.
Oh.
And now it's something that where they're having to talk about it, they're having to deal with it, and so they're making a statement. I don't know. Why now? I don't know.
So I guess I look at it like this. I think to myself, when are pastors going to learn that they have to have a pulse in the community, a pulse on culture? Why are we always reactionary? Why are we always waiting for it to get on the doorstep? Why aren't we just kind of looking ahead and going, hey, we probably need to talk about this. We probably need to deal with this. Why do we wait so long? It's almost like we wait too long.
People don't want to be, I think a lot of pastors don't want to bring division, which is true. You don't want to bring division in your church, but you have to bring up, you have to bring up things that are happening in the culture. You have to address it because your people are going through it. Whether this stuff is going after people's kids, so you have to address it because your congregation needs to know how to deal with this, how to speak to your kids about this, what to believe about these things, because you're seeing it in your face all the time. Or unless you can be completely off social media, you're not going to watch any news. You're going to have this in your face. And so our congregation has to know how to deal with it. But if you do that, you might have people in your church who get upset. But that's okay because you have to speak the truth.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think I agree with what DeShawn's saying. And I kind of go back to COVID and how divisive COVID was, but then also how COVID drove a lot of people out of the church.
Okay.
And I think a lot of pastors are just really trying to work towards getting their congregations back still. And so it's threading the needle of making sure that people are still coming every week, and not like
okay. But what I'm hearing you say is they're putting church attendance over church, over church education and church enrichment, over discipling the people. You're putting the attendance over the discipling the people.
I think that. To say everybody's like that would be a blanket statement,
okay.
But I think that there are definitely pastors who are dealing with that, especially, I was going to say smaller churches, but actually I would say probably all churches. People who have a large payroll, trying to make sure that you can make payroll, keep people happy, keep butts in the seats, butts and bucks, right?
Butts and bucks, baby.
So I think maybe that's where some of their tension lies.
So should a congregant be concerned if their pastor is not talking about these things? Should a congregant be concerned? Like, hey, my pastor's not talking about these things. He just rather, go along with it. Just go with the flow. Let's not rock the boat. Should a congregant be concerned?
Yeah.
Here's why I say that. Can't. You said something that we cannot overlook. You said it is happening to their kids. Mm-hmm. It is all over social media. It's 3 months and 28 days of in your face rainbow trans going on stuff. Pastors need to talk about this because parents and families are going through it, especially if you're in the public school system.
I think it's always should have been this way, but I think even more than ever, you have to lead the people who are at your church. You can't necessarily worry about people who aren't at your church on a Sunday morning, because you can say like, hey, Sunday morning's for everyone to bring in, but we all know a big percentage of your church isn't coming back on a Wednesday. They're not coming back on a Tuesday. They're not coming back to the meet. So your biggest opportunity to speak to people who actually may call your church home is on a Sunday morning. And I think you have to take opportunities on those Sunday mornings to speak to the issues of the culture here and now. And now, there could be a Sunday where you're trying to speak to a larger crowd, but I think at times you have to be focused on the people who call your church home.
Okay, so piggybacking off that, which I agree with. So piggybacking off that, we took one of our most viral clips, we took a lot of heat because we went after Lecrae. And he's this golden boy of Christian hip hop who everybody just loved and adored, although he doesn't see himself that way, but we took a lot of heat for this. But Lecrae in that episode, and you can find that episode on our podcast, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, all that stuff. We went after Lecrae because he said he went to a Diddy party. And boy, do we know a lot about P. Diddy right now, boy. There's a lot still coming out. There's a lot still to be told, but this man's in trouble. We took heat because we said that Cat Williams brought up P. Diddy and T.D. Jakes, Bishop Jakes. We said, that don't look good. We took heat from all these believers. You guys are judging. You guys are this. And the number one thing people said, you guys sounded offended. The whole point of the Not Offended podcast is we're not offended. So anyway, you guys just don't know that. So I kind of feel, and you tell me if this is wrong on my end, but I kind of feel a little vindicated because we said Lecrae should come out because he said, y'all just want me to speak on those things that happened at a Diddy party. Guess what? Yes, we do. You need to speak on it because everybody else is speaking on it. And you need to tell us about the sinfulness, the lasciviousness, the debauchery that was going on, Lecrae. And what did you do there, Lecrae? Is your name coming into things? I don't know. What should we do this at another segment? Because we're about to open up Pandora's box right here. What do you guys think? You like this one or what?
Well, there is to be more to come when it comes to learning about Diddy parties. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
It don't look good if your name is associated with Diddy right now, being at his parties.
It don't look good, does it?
Don't look good.
It don't look good. But we're going to get back to it. But did we not take heat for that, going after Lecrae?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he's the golden boy of Christian hip hop.
Everybody, you're judging him. How do you know? My favorite one. How do you know he didn't go there to witness?
He went to witness something.
He may be called as a witness. Hey, I'm pretty sure Lecrae said he was smoking weed. He was witnessing how good the weed was, or what was he? What exactly was he doing? But we said this. We said this from the jump. What are you doing at a Diddy party? Did we not say that? And did we not say it's hard to go to these parties of these stars and not get caught up in what they're doing? Why is that so abstract, so crazy to say these things? Abnormal. Why? Is it just not wisdom? You shouldn't be hanging around with these people and the things they do, or lest you get caught up. Is that not wisdom?
Yeah, people just have a hard time. Like, they can say, "Oh, going there is not necessarily a sin." It's like, all right, sure, it's not necessarily a sin. But I was thinking about this past week. I was like, things that you're doing, where's it going to lead you to?
Okay.
Like, think farther out. Okay, this is necessarily like, a sinful thing. We can't point out and say that's a sin. But it's like, what is that going to lead you to? Start thinking farther out than just the moment. And I think that's what we're saying to Lecrae. It's like, okay, you're there. What is that leading to? Are you leaving when things get too crazy? Or you're like, oh, I'm already a little bit high. My judgment's not there. Where's this going to lead to?
Yeah, people like to push the envelope. Mm-hmm. They like to see how far can I go. How far is too far. And then when you get to that point, you're like, well, who's to say that this is not a sin per se? Like, they didn't really have, cognac back in the Old Testament. So it's like, I don't really know. You couldn't really say that they didn't have this and this and that. So it's like, so they didn't blatantly say in the New Testament.
There was no Grey Goose.
I never saw it say anything about Swish or Sweet. So
that's a good point. No Grey Goose.
So
no
you try to justify. So you push, and then once you get to a place where a lot of people who are level-headed would say that's too far, then you start to justify.
Oh, so you went to Wings and Things because they had a buffet special, but you didn't know at one the strippers come out.
Well, and because of the Biden economics, your money doesn't go that far.
So you had to go to the buffet.
So instead of going to KFC, I had to go there.
Okay, see, that makes sense. And since you're there, you got to witness to your homies who are indulging. That's a good point. See, I never thought about it. Man, you make things easy to understand, Mike.
And unless I partake with them, then they're not going to understand.
They're going to think I'm judging them.
There it is.
They're going to think I'm judging them unless I do what they're doing. See, man, see how stupid that sounds? They push the envelope.
But people really believe that.
So my concern is not only do we deceive ourselves. Okay, just hear me out. Not only do we deceive ourselves, but we got smooth talkers out there who claim to know the Bible, but they don't even know it at all. From the deconstructionist to the whacked out theologian who just thinks he knows more than God. And I came across this clip, and I got to confess, this guy is smooth. And if you watch some of his other stuff, he's smooth. He's a rising politician in Texas. And I just want you to hear this clip that went viral from him. And then I want to get your thoughts on it. Watch this.
The Bible doesn't mention abortion or gay marriage, but it goes on and on about forgiving debt, liberating the poor, and healing the sick. Christian nationalists like to say this is a Christian nation. Not only is that historically inaccurate, not only is that theologically blasphemous, but it's also just not true. Look around us. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would forgive student debt. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would guarantee health care to every single person. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would love all of our LGBTQ neighbors. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would make sure every child in this state and in this country was housed, fed, clothed, educated, and insured. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would never make it a Christian nation, because we know the table of fellowship is open to everybody, including our Buddhist, Hindu, Jewish, Muslim, Sikh, and atheist neighbors. Jesus could have started a Christian theocracy, but love would never do that. The closest thing we have to the kingdom of heaven is a multiracial, multicultural democracy where power is truly shared among all people.
Okay. Hey, it went viral. People ate that up. What'd you think of that?
So what's your plan, huh? Like what? What is he saying? What? Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya.
What'd you think when he saw it?
This idiot is just making stuff up. He's just there talking, no biblical basis to what he's saying, just making up stuff. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this was built upon Christian points of views. You can go take your Muslim, the point of views, you wouldn't get this nation. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. There wouldn't be the freedom that you think, the LGBTQ that you think we're having.
You almost messed that whole thing up.
Whatever it is.
If this is a Muslim nation, March 31st is not Trans Visibility Day.
Yep.
It's trans, you get shot day.
Anyone they see could be hanging from a tree. Like, that's what you get. Like, what you're saying doesn't make any sense. Like, you're a complete idiot. Like, obviously he's not a Christian. He grew up in Texas, so he probably grew up in church, so he knows some lingo. But that's about it. He doesn't know his Bible. He doesn't know what he's talking about. If a man doesn't work, he doesn't eat. And the children, or they suffer the consequences of what their parents do.
That's true.
That's what it is. This is stuff that we learned in the past. When the families we want to help, we see kids going through stuff. We didn't have the right to help them. They suffer the consequences of what their parents were going through. So that's why a man needs to get up and work and take care of his family. It's not our job as always the state to come and save everyone in that way. It's like, no, we need to help that father get his stuff together. We need him to find Christ, and then that changes the family. Otherwise, who pays for all that? Who does all that? It doesn't make any sense what he's talking about. He doesn't know what truly being a Christian is.
He said gay marriage and abortion is not in the Bible. You just don't got the energy, huh?
The big thing, like the abortion thing always just bothers me, and it's like, because either it's life or it's not. And if I take the view that it's life, to speak of like life in that way with such a disregard, is like it sickens me when people talk about it with this just like flippantly. It's like, man, you don't, because you take like a born baby and you see that, and you see any man will have sympathy for that child.
But he said canceling student debt is in the Bible.
Do you think that he believes that Jesus thinks there is sin?
I don't know. He said the fellowship table is open to all. I don't know where he got that either. Paul went on to say that if you drink this cup in an unworthy manner, you in trouble. Mm-hmm. He said that's why some of you are sick and dying. Like I don't even know how to respond. But the thing that concerns me is something you said. You said he grew up in a church, probably. Well, he's in a church right there, obviously. But he grew up in a church, and he knows just enough of the lingo. And that's the thing that concerns me, is there's just enough people out there who live in the land of just enough. I have just enough good church attendance. I read just enough of my Bible. I follow just enough of the Lord's commands. I follow just enough of the Spirit's lead. All these just enoughs. And really, they come up empty. You said it a couple weeks ago on the podcast. It hit me that even the demons believe and tremble. I'm no better than a demon. And the way you were living. That concerns me. That smooth talking. I don't know. I get concerned because I think people are eating that up. They're like, oh, you hear people, oh, amen. Amen. Are you nuts? This is how I know the cultures come in. This, again, a culture of convenience. It just sounds good to me. I get to serve me. That subtle serpent again. Never says go serve Satan. He says go serve yourself. All that is self-serving. Oh, I have student debt. Then pay it off like the rest of us. Go work hard. Okay, what's next? We're going to cancel all car debt? All house debt? Everybody just everything for free. That's not Bible.
Yeah, Jesus didn't come to necessarily make your life easier. Because all his disciples, guess what? Their life got harder.
They died.
If they didn't follow Jesus, they would have had a lot better life.
It's true. Some of them were successful fishermen. Yes.
Yeah, but they had this hope that it didn't matter. They were willing to go through that. And so like his whole concept, if you go to scripture, if you just know, if you don't have to be a theologian, you don't have to be a pastor. All you have to know is a few scriptures and you'll know that dude's a complete idiot. You can easily, I give you like maybe 5 scriptures. You put that dude in a room and he will have no answer for what you're saying. What he's saying is completely off.
But it feels good.
Didn't it? Sounded real good. I'm going to give you and everybody in your house universal health care. I'm going to pay off all your debt. I'm going to make sure I take care of all your needs. You ain't going to do nothing but try to get reelected again. And then whatever power you get, you're going to make some backdoor deals to make sure you maintain that power. You ain't looking out for nobody but yourself. And that's the truth.
Jesus taught it. It was like people who are good with their money, good with what God has provided them, they get more. And people who aren't get less.
That's it.
It wasn't equal. And people just don't like that. That is the Jesus. Some people have more talent than other people. They're going to make more money. And it's unfortunate. I want to make more money.
People got more talent. That story. Yeah.
That's just what it is. But people don't like that Jesus.
He's just, he's speaking to that white guilt. Is he not? He's speaking to the white guilt.
He came with it, like he's speaking, as a white guy, he's speaking to that white guilt.
Yeah, he's trying to find as many white people in the room who feel bad about being white, and he's like, yeah, absolutely. But that's not reality. He's living in some false world. Like, practically speaking, as a politician, what he's saying, how does that play out? How are you going to do that? That's why I started this whole thing with like, what's your plan? Like, how do you even do that? It sounds great. I wish everybody in the world got along. That would be great.
It would be actually right now. Yeah, and I wish
it would
have water.
Yeah, clean water for everybody. That'd be that.
And then the 3 top richest guys could feed the whole world.
What else do we want? It's like, but that's not realistic. That's not going to happen. Your plan is not and even but this. So then he comes up with this make believe fairy world or whatever. And then on top of that, he says, but this is the planet, or this is the world that Jesus would want. But
he blames it on Christian nationalists. Once again, here we go again, this Christian nationalist thing, right? It's like, here we go again. They're the reason the MAGA people, everything is bad in this world. Dude, we had Trump for 4 years, and we've had Democrats for the last 60 in some of these major cities. And you're going to blame everything on Trump for 4 years. Baltimore's going to blame everything on Trump for 4 years. Portland's going to blame everything on Trump for 4 years. California. Did we even need to talk about us? We in trouble.
Oh, we in trouble with that $20. I was talking to my buddy at the gym.
Bro, we in trouble. $20 an hour to work at Jack.
You mad that the dollar menu ain't the dollar menu? Hey, you about to be really mad.
It's the $3.50 menu now. My gosh.
It's about to be the $5.50 menu.
I'm telling you. Like, you're going to walk out of Jack. You can't take your kids to McDonald's no more. That's going to cost you $50.
Yeah, it's expensive.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so here's the thing. So you said something, and you've been on this for a while, and I think you're 100% right. I don't think people understand how good it is here. Like, you brought up national, I'm gonna mess this up, Visibility Day, whatever it is. Could you imagine doing that in Qatar during Ramadan?
You about to be invisible.
Oh, yeah. You invisible, you gone. Like, you cease to exist. There's no fighting for rights in Iran. And by the way, I'm not saying that it's right what they do. I'm not signing off on that. But what I am saying is they push that. That is being pushed. And I found a clip, and this is what I'm talking about. We live in a great place, right? Freedom. And I found this clip. I wanted to show it to you guys. A lady on the bus eating her meal. She just got off work, and a guy is fasting for Ramadan. And I just want you to see this interaction. This is what a free society looks like, right? But people got to understand, around the world in these other places that are ran by religious fanatics, right? These imams, they don't play. And I want you to see how it tries to spill over. Okay, watch this clip.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Sorry? Yeah, I can smell that. Do you mind eating that somewhere else? I'm fasting.
That's not my concern.
Yeah, but I'm fasting though.
So why are you out?
What do you mean why am I out?
If you're fasting, you should be indoors.
Yeah, but
I'm eating my lunch. And you come and disturb me.
Yeah,
What for?
yeah, but I can smell it.
So what? It's food. Of course you're gonna smell it.
Yeah, but can you not just wait until you like get off the
Please,
bus?
don't tell me what to do. You're fasting, stay indoors, and don't come and bother nobody on the bus.
No, but I'm just saying.
I'm eating my lunch.
Yeah, but
What's your problem?
Because you're right next to me, and I can
But
smell.
go downstairs.
Yeah, do you think you should have manners and not eat inside the
Go
bus? Stop?
downstairs and leave me alone. It's my lunch.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm fasting and I can smell it.
That's your business. Stay indoors.
What do you mean stay indoors? I need to
When
go out
I
and still do
fast,
stuff.
I don't go out. Stay
Okay.
indoors, read your Bible,
Okay.
and keep quiet.
Well, first of all, I don't read the Bible. Second, do you know how I feel? You know, I haven't eaten since 5 a.m.
Go home. Break your fast early.
No, don't you dare say something like
Break your
that.
fast early.
What do you mean break my fast early? And you're still eating. The thing is, it smells. The stuff.
It's lovely.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but it's.
You want some? You want some?
Are you being serious?
Yes, I'm happy to share.
After what I've just told
I'm
you.
happy to share somebody because you clearly own.
Okay. She said, go downstairs. Go downstairs. Don't come out the house. If you're fasting, read your Bible. I don't read the Bible. Read the Bible. I like this woman. I don't know who she is. She goes, I'm eating my lunch. Don't disturb me.
She just lost her black card.
She did.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Unfortunate for her.
Hey, good for her, right? Good on her. What'd you think when you first saw that? You like listening to the accents too, huh? Don't you understand? I'm fasting. I haven't eaten since 5 a.m.
Just gonna break your fast.
She said,
I couldn't believe you said that.
break your fast early.
Do you want some? Happy to share. Happy to share.
What'd you think, Bishop? Go ahead. What'd you think when you saw it?
I'm glad she stood up for herself. He wasn't a complete jerk, but you're also recording her. You're trying to put her on blast.
Try to cancel her.
Yeah. And so it's like, yeah, I mean, like she said, she's like, hey, when I fast, I stay home. Go take your butt home. Let be quiet. I mean, why you telling people you fasting anyways? You want some special reward for it? You want a special sticker? Like,
But
no one cares.
who are you to impose your stuff on a public bus at a public hour when she's just got off her shift and she's trying to eat lunch before her next job?
Yeah, if you can't honor your fake God and some little food's gonna throw you off, go serve a real God. Maybe you get some strength.
Okay, shots fired. I like that. We're going to add to your shirt. Get some real strength with the real God. Okay, what'd you think? I know we were laughing through the whole thing, but what'd you think? Good on her or what?
Yeah. Good on her for standing up for what she believes to be her rights, which are her rights. Like, she's on a public bus. She can do what she wants to do. Like, if he's fasting, that's his right as well. But what you said is, who is he to impose his beliefs onto other people? But that's where we're at as a world.
We are.
Is it you are going to bow down to what I believe in? And, everybody's supposed to be tolerant and accepting of everybody else as long as that matches up with what I believe in. As long as whatever that matches up to whatever the big wave is pushing. But Christianity is not allowed, or Christianity is supposed to bow down to everybody else.
Yeah, why are we the pushovers? Why are we on the chopping block? Have we just not stood up for ourselves enough?
I mean, this is the hard part.
You don't want to be a white nationalist.
Well, no. Well, Christianity.
Tell us about that, please.
she stands up for what? Had that been a white guy, imagine that same conversation on the bus.
Oh, for sure.
Had that been a white guy, they'd have put a hit out on him.
Oh, for sure. For sure. But just so you know, as an honorary white person, I can speak on the white nationalism now, just so you know. I just want to throw that
Somebody get this. Never mind.
Yeah. So, but go ahead. You were going to say.
Because Christianity is all about grace. It's showing people grace and mercy and like loving and caring for people despite them having different beliefs. And so that could be the hard part about Christianity.
Where do we put that line?
Exactly. Like, when do we start pushing back and when do we keep showing love? Like, how do you balance both? And that's the struggle we have as believers. When the other sides, other religions, like, no, destroy you. We're saying, no, we'll still love you, even though you're saying you're living this lifestyle. What your lifestyle you're living is wrong, but we're still called to love you.
Okay.
And we're trying to balance that. And that's why America's so great. And that's why America is based on Christian values, because no other world system will provide what 100%. Our nation has right now. But as Christians, we have to figure out, when do we need to push back and fight for our faith?
100%.
Well, you got that crazy politician who's his idea of pushing back in that scenario, just accept everything. He's probably practicing Ramadan also, because that's what a good Christian would do.
Because it's an open table.
But this is we get to get up on Sunday and preach about this grace and this love, no matter who's there. no matter what sins they committed. There's people that will come to our church that we will judge and say, like, we really would dislike. There's certain things that people may do. We're like, I don't like you. I'm down to fight you. Like for certain things they've done.
Right.
But God says, I love you and there's redemption for you.
Right.
So we might hate that person. God says, no, I love you and care for you. And that's the amazing part of the gospel.
It's true.
And that's why we do what we do.
The amazing grace. So I got another clip I want to show you guys. This happened at Easter Sunday Church. I believe they said it was either in Boston or New York. But I want you to take a look at this clip. Once again, people pushing, right? This time they interrupted a church service, a Catholic church service, but they're pushing their agenda. And I think people are getting tired of it. Watch this clip. So the person who posted that asked the question, if you as a Christian went into a mosque and you did the same thing, would they tolerate that? How would that go for us?
Not well. It may be all over the news. Man, I don't even know what they would do to you.
Yeah, you're not making out the mosque.
Yeah, man. Without some bumps and bruises. I don't. Man, this is what I'm talking about. Like, what are you doing? This is a church. It's Easter Sunday, and you're pushing this on people. We understand that you got a grievance and that you're upset about something, but you got Easter, the most, one of the most holiest outside of Christmas as well. One of the most first or second most holiest days for us as believers, and no one's saying anything. Like, this is ridiculous. Once again, it's you will do what we say when we tell you to say it. You'll use my pronouns. You'll do whatever I tell you to do, and you're just going to have to accept that and be happy with it. When are Christians going to stand up? When are Christians going to stand up and say, no, we don't, and no, we don't have to? And you're making it very difficult to love you, so knock it off.
Well, and I think part of the agenda of the other side would be to limit the amount of what's the word I'm trying to look for? But where you don't find that clip on NBC, you don't find that clip on ABC, you don't find it anywhere else, because what the other side doesn't want to do, if you're picking sides, right, conservative, liberal, what the liberal side would not want you to do is know that this stuff is happening. Because if the more people who are conservative are seeing this, then they'll start to unite. The more Christians who see stuff like this, they'll start to unite. And so they try to do their best to silence all forms of communication that show the reality of what Hamas and what some of these other like real far right, whether it be Hamas or whether it be LGBTQ, what they really do. And that's what they really do. But they'll show you what a radical Christian would do, but they won't show you what a radical person on the other side would do.
What do you think?
Man, that's a beautiful church. And you know, that's your homie, your saint, St. Patrick. That's what his name after. I was looking it up.
Yeah.
Did that at your church? Where your people at?
Yeah. Well.
It sounded like a whole lot of Spanish in there.
I know.
People got ran out, bro.
That's good thinking over.
No, we didn't get ran out.
You rented it out. He rented it out. You didn't get ran out. You rented it out.
We'll let you use it.
Yeah. What gives you the right to go interrupt somebody else's holy moment for your agenda? Why not just stand outside across the street?
But why even go after the church in general?
Why?
It was like, we have our views, get over it. Like, we don't have any power to change it. Like, this is who we are. I mean, yeah.
But they want us to accept them, accept my Ramadan, accept my high holy days, accept Muhammad, accept this, accept my gayness, accept my tranniness, accept all this. But when it comes to Jesus, like, nope. we're gonna push you guys to the limits. We're gonna push you around, and we'll tell you suck, and you're this, and you're nationalist, and you're that, and people just sit there. Oh, okay, man. They should have got tackled the moment they got up.
Yeah, Christians just have to get over the fact that people aren't gonna like you. That's just what it's gonna be. That's what the early.
But they didn't like Jesus.
That's what the early apostles were getting beat all the time for what they were preaching and what they were teaching. Just be willing for that. Be willing for people to say, hey, you're a bigot. We hate you. Just don't actually be those things and be okay with people calling you those things.
It's like what's going on right now. I know you and I were talking about it. This whole phrase, Christ is King, and how they're trying to label it an anti-Semitic trope, right? And basically they're trying to say that it's anti-Semitic to say Christ is King. And I know you and I were talking about this. It's like, who are you to tell us what we can say and what we can't say? Mm-hmm. We live in the greatest nation in the world where free speech abounds. And just because you might find it offensive doesn't mean it's offensive. Christ is King. Mm-hmm. Now, if you go to a group of Hasidic Jews when they're over there praying and you start shouting, well, then you have ill intent. I get it. Yeah. But if you want to just hashtag Christ is King, you're free to do so. I don't care if that ruffles your feathers on Thanksgiving or not. Mm-hmm. Because people got no problem with them pushing their stuff around on us. Well, then we get to say some things too. And if that offends you and you're Muhammad, then you guys will get over it too. But don't nobody get mad when people say, alhamdulillah. They don't get mad. They don't, you're allowed to do what you're doing. But the moment you start imposing on somebody else, now I draw the line. I got a problem. Christian or not, I got a problem.
Yeah, I think that what we've been talking about for a while now is I think that one of the beauties of living in this nation is that it's a melting pot. But where is the meeting in the middle? And there is no meeting in the middle for the Christian anymore. Meeting in the middle for the Christian is that you totally like wash your hands of your beliefs and you totally come over to the other side. That is the meeting in the middle. Wow. And so, how could this have played out differently to where people would have met in the middle? Yeah, you could have stayed across the street. There you go. You could have stayed across the street. We've seen enough of that, where they protested you in a way to where they wanted you to know that they wanted to bring obviously awareness to what's going on in Palestine, free Palestine. So what are you actually saying about free Palestine? What's the rest of that? So you want to eradicate the Jews? That's what you want to do. So what's the meeting in the middle? There is no meeting in the middle.
It's like we've lost all meeting in the middle. It's like we've lost a sense of that, like what it means to actually meet in the middle and on certain things agree to disagree and on certain things to kind of give and take a little bit. We've lost that. Okay, so I've got a thought. Why don't we go ahead and close this way today? Tell me, what advice would you give to a believer out there who may be feeling a little stepped on? Like, they're feeling a little taken advantage of. They're feeling like this is being all pushed on them and they can't push back. How would you tell them to gracefully push back a little bit? Like, what advice would you give them if they're starting to feel like their Judeo-Christian rights are being violated? How would you ask them, or how would you advise them to push back a little on any given situation, whether work, school, family, whatever? What advice would you give them? How would you steer them or recommend them? What would you recommend them to do?
I just think back to the woman on the bus.
Okay.
Maybe some people would have thought that she was a little bit harsh. So if the average person is watching that video and that lady, let's say, was at a 10, then drop it down to like a 7 and say, hey, I respect that you're, practicing Ramadan or whatever is going on right now. And, that's great. I'm happy for you, but I'm going to continue to eat my food. Okay. And so what would I say for other people is like, stand on your beliefs. You don't have to be necessarily a jerk about it. But you also don't have to cow down to whatever everybody else is telling you to do. And for every situation, that's going to look differently. Okay. For every person, that's going to look different. But just know that it's okay for you to love Jesus.
What would you recommend? What would you advise?
Yeah, I mean, if the world's coming to a point, especially in our country, where saying Jesus is King is becoming the issue, I think that's a big deal. Because you can't stand back on your faith. You have to be willing to stand on Jesus is King and Jesus is Lord of your life. And if people are going to come down against you, that's the most basic thing that we have to say and believe. So if that becomes an issue in our country, we're going to truly find out who are really believers. Because there's be a time of testing. Is like, are you going to stand on that truth and willing to confess that, even though you may lose a job, you may lose certain things because you confess that. So you really have to resolve in yourself that, hey, I'm willing to follow Christ no matter what it takes. That Jesus is the great I am. That He is the Yahweh. He is the God of. He is the line of Isaac. That He is the true Messiah that was to come. Like, you truly have to believe that and stand on that. But if you can't stand on that basic truth, then we're going to see Christianity in our country fall apart if we can't stand on that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what you guys are saying, but I want to speak to the audience on a little something different. You have the rights too. Mom and dad, if you walk in on your kid's first day of kindergarten and you notice the kindergarten teacher is suspect and they're trans and you ain't comfortable, take your kid out of class. That's your right. If you go to your job and you feel like your job is imposing and infringing on your religious beliefs, then you can report that. Then you can stand up against that. I want you to know that you are empowered. If you feel like the school is doing something like they did in Elk Grove, held a gay club behind the parents' back and did not tell the parents but invited all the kids, you can go to the school board meetings and you can speak your mind. You can go to the school board meetings and talk about the books that they push during Pride Month. You are empowered. You are the parents. You are allowed to do that in this great country. I want to speak to everybody who feels like, man, am I threading that needle? I love what the token said. He said, if you feel like you had a 10, dial it down to a 5 then. But go ahead and keep speaking your piece. Keep speaking what's on your mind. Keep speaking Bible. Don't let nobody tell you what you can and cannot say if you're doing it in the spirit of Christ and in love. Especially if you're backing up what the word of God says. You are allowed to stand your ground. Just like everybody else is standing their ground, you're allowed to stand your ground. And I got news for people out there. You don't own the grammar. You don't get to tell us what we can and what we can't say. You don't get to tell us how we're supposed to say it. Nobody does that. You do not get to impose and infringe on my rights as an American. And it's about time the people of God, the church of God, start standing up for the things of God. Don't let nobody come in here and try to dominate your services when you're trying to exalt Christ. If it takes our eyes off of Christ during the church service, then that is of the enemy. You need to stand your ground. You need to tell people, keep it moving. You can do what you need to do, but you're going to do it at a distance. You will not do it in the house of God, because this is our moment to worship Christ the King. Thank you for tuning in to the Not Offended Podcast. Peace, and we're out.